Welcome to CNBG News. I'm April Howard. In today's top headlines, Penn State's head football coach Joe Paterno has been fired. Paterno was ousted Wednesday night by Penn State's Board of Trustees, even though he'd said earlier in the day he would retire at the end of his 46th season. He was fired because he didn't do enough to stop a child abuse scandal centered around former defensive coordinator Jerry Sandusky. Paterno was not accused of any legal wrongdoing, but he has been criticized for not doing more to stop Sandusky, with the state police commissioner calling it a lapse in moral responsibility. Paterno himself said Wednesday he wished he'd done more, calling it one of the great sorrows of my life. Penn State trustees have chosen defensive coordinator Tom Bradley to serve as interim coach. Greece selects their new prime minister. After days of wrangling, Greece has chosen Lucas Papademos, a respected economist, to be the new prime minister today. He will head a unity government that has pledged to quickly approve the tough terms of a European aid package and save the country from bankruptcy. When asked about his appointment, Papademos said, "The course will not be easy, but the problems I'm convinced will be solved. They will be solved faster, with a smaller cost, and in an efficient way, if there is unity, agreement, and prudence." Italy may also be closer to picking their new prime minister as well. Current Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi is showing his support to former EU Commissioner Mario Monti with the hopes he can unite the troubled country. Italy's President Giorgio Napolitano announced Wednesday that he had nominated Monti as Senator for Life, a title which is bestowed on those who have held distinguished roles, which raised speculations about Monti's candidacy. Dubbed Super Mario for his work in international finance, Monti gained notoriety for his role in blocking a merger between U.S. firms Honeywell International and General Electric, thought to be a move that highlighted Europe's newfound regulatory clout. In political news, last night was not a good night for Republican presidential candidate Rick Perry. Wednesday night's CNBC presidential debate is certainly one we won't soon forget. When asked to name the third federal agency he vows to abolish, Perry had a brain freeze. Some say this could be a major game changer for Perry, seriously damaging his fundraising ability. However, Rick Perry is trying his best to make light of the situation. The GOP presidential hopeful took to his own website and asked visitors to the page, "What part of the federal government would you like to forget about the most?" Tonight, Perry will appear on The Late Show with David Letterman. Speaking of Republican presidential candidates, one of Herman Cain's sexual harassment accusers, Sharon Vilek, told reporters on Wednesday that the man has complete amnesia, and "I really believe that he believes in himself. Pathological liars usually do those kind of things." Vilek said she was so proud of another of Cain's accusers, Karen Krishar, for coming forward by name. Two other women who say Cain misbehaved inappropriately have not identified themselves publicly. Cain, a businessman and former National Restaurant Association executive, has insisted that he did not sexually harass anyone. The Senate Judiciary Committee voted Thursday to repeal a federal law that defines marriage as being a union between a man and a woman, but the legislation lacks vote for passage in either house. The vote was 10-8, with all committee Democrats favoring the appeal and all Republicans opposing. The repeal bill would need 60 votes in the 100-member Senate, and sponsors acknowledge that there just aren't enough there. They say the measure would have no chance in the House, which is controlled by conservative Republicans. The current federal law, known as the Defense of Marriage Act, has had a huge negative impact on gay couples through the denial of federal government benefits. Those couples cannot file jointly federal income tax returns or take donations available through traditional marriages. There are also no spousal or Social Security benefits. President Bill Clinton signed the Defense of Marriage Act in 1996. The District of Columbia and 6 other states now recognize gay marriage. Those are Massachusetts, Connecticut, Iowa, Vermont, New York, and New Hampshire. We're going to take a short break. Please stay with CNBG News. We'll be back with more news from around the country. Welcome back to CMBG News. I'm April Howard. Now here's a look at news from around the nation. The largest county in Alabama has filed for bankruptcy. Jefferson County, where the city of Birmingham is located, is more than $4.1 billion in debt. The filing on Wednesday goes on record as the largest municipal bankruptcy filing in American history. A sewer deal gone bad is to blame for the large debt. Commissioner Jimmy Stevens said Jefferson County, in effect, has been in bankruptcy for 3 years. If Jefferson County's bankruptcy is approved, it will replace the one filed by record holder Orange County, California in 1994 with debts totaling over $1.7 billion. Federal authorities are saying Estonian and Russian cybercriminals infected at least 4 million computers worldwide with the virus, and they also used a complex ad-click fraud scheme to pocket $14 million. According to an indictment filed in the Southern District of New York, the scheme operated from 2007 to October of this year. Consumers caught up in the scheme, which includes 500,000 victims in the U.S., were unaware that their everyday web browsing contributed to the scheme. When infected users visited popular websites like Apple's iTunes, Netflix, or ESPN, advertisements in the site were replaced by ads controlled by the hackers, which earned them illegal gains through advertising affiliate agreements. This scam is sometimes called advertising replacement fraud. The same virus has also altered search engine results, so consumers who clicked on some links were rerouted to websites designated by the hackers, which triggered payments under advertising contracts. 6 suspects were arrested in Estonia on Tuesday. 1 is still at large. The suspects face 27 charges, including wire fraud and computer intrusion. Government computers, including at least 100 at NASA, were infected in the scheme. Police arrested a school bus driver in New Jersey for allegedly driving 25 children home with a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit. Carol Crockett is facing 25 counts of endangering the welfare of children, disorderly conduct, and drunken driving charges. West Hampton Township Police say children on the bus called their parents to say the driver was swerving and falling asleep behind the wheel. The police report said Crockett's breath showed she had a blood alcohol level of 0.25%, which compares to the state legal limit of 0.08%. She has been released on $85,000 bail and is due back in court on November 17th. In news from around the world, an earthquake that hit Turkey on Wednesday has claimed the lives of at least 7 people. More than 100 people are buried under the debris following a magnitude 5.7 earthquake that struck Wednesday night. Government officials say 25 people have been rescued. Last month, a 7.2 quake hit Turkey, which killed more than 500 people. Thousands of students marched through central London on Wednesday to protest cuts to public spending and a big increase in university tuition fees. Police said more than 2,000 people took part in the march, which started at the University of London, chanting, "No ifs, no buts, no education cuts." Organizers estimated the crowd at 10,000. About 4,000 police were also on hand, and 24 people were arrested in the protest for disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace. The fee increase is estimated to triple the price of tuition. The western black rhino of Africa was declared officially extinct Thursday by a leading conservation group. Their International Union for Conservation of Nature said that two other subspecies of rhinoceros were close to meeting the same fate. The northern white rhino of Central Africa is now possibly extinct in the wild, and the Javan rhino is probably extinct in Vietnam after poachers killed the last animal there in 2010. One reason why the rhinos are being poached is because rhinoceros horns are a coveted ingredient in traditional Eastern medicine and rumored to cure or fend off cancer, although scientists say there is no evidence to support this claim. Now for news in the world of pop culture, TMZ is reporting that famed producer Brian Grazer will take over as producer for the 2012 Oscar ceremony. Hollywood star and comedian Eddie Murphy quit as host for the upcoming Oscars on Wednesday, one day after the show's producer Brett Ratner resigned for making an anti-gay comment. "I appreciate how Eddie feels about losing his creative partner, Brett Ratner, and we all wish him well," said Academy President Tom Sharrock. Murphy said, "I was truly looking forward to being a part of the show that our production team and writers were just starting to develop, but I'm sure that the new production team and hosts will do an equally great job. The 84th Annual Academy Awards will air Sunday, February 26, 2012. In business news, Toyota Motor said Wednesday it is recalling about 550,000 vehicles worldwide, mostly in the United States, for problems that can make it harder to steer. Toyota spokesman Dion Corbett said Toyota has received a total of 79 reports about the defect dating back to 2007, but also added there have been no reports of injuries or accidents related to the problems. The recall affects 447,000 vehicles in North America, as well as 38,000 in Japan and another 25,000 in Australia and New Zealand. Toyota's reputation has taken a hit over the last 2 years due to a string of huge recalls that have reached 14 million vehicles, including millions recalled last year for acceleration problems. It faces damage lawsuits and lingering doubts in the U.S. about whether it had been transparent enough about the recalls. In a press release, Toyota says the latest recall is due to the possibility that the outer ring of the engine's crankshaft pulley may become misaligned with the inner ring, which could cause noise or a warning signal to light up. If the problem isn't corrected, the belt for the power steering pump may become detached from the pulley, making it suddenly more difficult to turn the steering wheel. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break with more news from CNBG.